light, rear fog light on the 370Z. This one's the regular red one, with the white reverse. The reason why I chose this one over, say, the one with the tinted cut housing, or the one that has all the LEDs, and it's called the Evo rear fog light for the 370Z, is because I wanted this to match my current lights on my 370. So if I tint them with some tint, at least they all match, and one's not darker than the other. And also I wanted the brightest that I could get out of the reverse, so I could see it when it's really dark. It illuminates all the back. And I just want to stay consistent with what I currently have on the rear backlights. So what it comes with is this, and then it comes with these instructions on how to hook it up. Basically, the black is your ground, the white is your reverse light, the red is your like brake light, and the green is actually your like running light. Okay, so the sheathing on the wires that this light comes with is kind of short, so it comes down to about right here, and then the wires continued all the way across. I don't know why they spliced it back that far, but what I did was I used some electrical tape. I used this red electrical tape because that's all that I had on hand right now. And then I took some heat shrink after I taped it all up. I took the heat shrink and heat shrunk it right where it begins and right where it ends, so that way it doesn't unravel. And the reason why I taped the rest of this was so with it being in the elements and stuff, I didn't want the wires to start cracking from the heat of the exhaust and stuff like that. So after I did that, I tinned the ends. I'll show you how to solder some of the other stuff together, like this to here. But for now, I just tin the ends. And you want to tin the ends. Let's see if I can focus. So you want to tin the ends so that way when you put the wires together and twist them together, it kind of holds. And then you just dab it with the soldering iron, and it'll fuse it together a lot easier that way. So that way you don't have to heat up the wire and try to get both wires hot, and finally it solders together. This way it's a lot faster, and it won't damage your sheathing on your wires itself. So once you get all that prepped up, you don't want to put this on just yet because you still got to fish this through the car, and with this it's going to be a lot harder. So do this, get to this point, and then start working on the car portion of it. So the first thing you want to do to access your panel or your rear tail light, it doesn't matter if you do the left or right. I'm going to do the driver's side. You just pull up on this by the stripping a little bit, just so you could pull this out. So it's just a few tabs. Let's see, it's just a few tabs like that. You just lift up on it and it pops right out. And then now you're going to take off the light. But before you take off the light, you want to just lift up on this area right here just a little bit, just so you could have access to in there. And let's see, so as you can see right there, that's the floor, so you should be able to see my shoe right there. So that's where you're going to fish up the wire through into this light. So let's get this light off so that way we can wire it into this light, and take off these bolts. So take off both of those, the number 10. Okay, so again, you're going to need this panel removal tool, a plastic one preferably, but I wouldn't get the cheap ones only because they may flex a lot when you pry them out. And then you're going to take it and you're going to get a pin like this, and as you can see there's like a little flat. Let's see if I can show you. So there's a little flat right there, and what you're going to do is take this panel removal tool, put it in there, or a flat blade, it doesn't matter, and pry out on it. This one actually popped out, but usually they'll come out like that. They ideally just pull out enough for you to grab this little thing and pull out on the rest of it. But basically how this works is when you pry out on this, it pushes this pin back, allowing these things to collapse. And once they collapse, you're able to pull it out. So you do that for that one, and then you want to remove this back panel. And then, okay, so what you want to do is after you remove the strip all the way down, you want to get your panel removal tool, and there's going to be a little tab right here, 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 here. So there's going to be a total of 4 tabs, and you just go right between them and pop them up, and they look like that. So those get pushed down in there, and then once you do that, you just slide out on it and unplug your light, which unplugs by simply pushing down on this little tab here, and it unplugs. So you unplug that and then you just lift it out of your car. These two are going to be holding it at the bottom, and your carpet sits on top of that, so you pull that out. You're going to have to remove this little take off this tab as well. There is another tab. It's a little bit different, and that one's going to be right here. So there's another one there, and then you got to pop it out from, I don't know if you can see that, but the sun is kind of shining in there. But you pop it all along the seam right here. Just keep pulling it back, and it's gonna go all the way through this way. So once you get this side panel out, you should be able to see the light and stuff and how to get to that. Okay, so all I did was take out the carpet right here. You should know how to take out a carpet. And there's going to be a plastic piece underneath that. So you also want to pull off this. So once it gets pulled, like these pop out, you should just lift up right here and then wiggle this out. You could take it off. As you can see, there's like a little tab right there, right there. But that's how it is in there. So here's the main tabs that you got to pull off. So once you get those out, you just pull it out of the way. You don't have to take it completely out. You could just leave it to the side like that. Because you have to access that nut right there on the stud. Number 8. You can use either a socket wrench or a regular boxing wrench to take this off, and then your light will push out. Okay, so what you want to do is push on this end of it. Let's see if I can get that better focus. So push down this way, pull back this way, and then get your hand in here and pull up, and then start pulling this way, and this whole thing will slide out like that. And the thing that holds in there are those 2 tabs. We're gripping right here, so gripping that little tab right there, and then this one right here. So you gotta pull backwards to get them out of there. And then there's your light and wiring harness. So I'm gonna disconnect that and see where I could tap into it. Okay, so to get to your rear fog light, you take off this little tab right here. Use your panel removal tool. Pop that down. It's like the ones that were in the trunk. And then now you have access to this. So you come over here, and there's going to be a nut right there. And then on this side, there's going to be another nut. And you use your number 10. So you want to loosen this up so that way you could pull this out of the way. Use the number 10 to take out the nut on top and the bottom. And then your whole fog light will drop out towards the front. So this will pull out. Okay, so what I did was I got these alligator clips. You can run a wire and some tape, but I fished it down all the way to the bottom. So this all the way down to the bottom, and then once I got to the bottom, I use the other end of the alligator clips. I actually extended 2 of these alligator clips together. I clipped them onto here. If you have wire, just tape them onto here. So that way I could pull them up and fish them up to the body itself. So you do that, and you start pulling up on them. And then your wires come up. So that's a simple way to get them up here a lot faster. And as you can see, they're routed down through the bottom. And then you could zip tie them or whatever you want to do to keep them up or keep them out of the way. It's up to you. But now we're gonna attach them to our tail light. So here's what the new light looks like, and here's what the old fog light looks like. Or this one's actually a reflector, but you can tap into this and put an LED strip in there and use it as a fog light. Everything's there just except for the light, but I like this one because I could use it as a reverse light too, and it's gonna brighten it a lot up for my reverse camera. So we want to get this cinched down, and then we're gonna use 242 or 243 Loctite and put this together the same way we took this one off. So let's get that put in before we start wiring it. This light set right here is for the reverse light. So this is your reverse light. I cut the green with the white wire. So you're gonna splice into this. And then this one's the LED set. So for this harness, these are your brake and run lights. And then for this one is your reverse light. The reason why the wire is so big is because this uses the standard bulbs. These ones are all LEDs, so it requires less energy to run. And here's what it looks like from the back. Flip it over. Okay, so you're gonna get that set up. And the blinker module, this one right here. Okay, so the wires needed to get switched up. What I had before was this red wire from the module going to the red wire on the fog light. And ideally what you need to do is connect the green wire from the fog light to the red wire on the module, and then the red wire from the fog light goes to the green wire on your tail light, because this is the run light, and this wire here, this red one, is a run light for the fog light. So the official setup. So this is how you need to wire yours. Okay, so I'm gonna put this thing back together. Just the way you took it off, put it back together the same way. Thanks for watching this video.